Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 13th of August and welcome to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So friends, in the today's video, we are going to take the entire discussion of the Hindu newspaper with the background as well as with the way forward in the articles. Guys, before starting, I would like to tell you that please download this explainer PDF from the Telegram channel so that you can refer all these particular text along with the newspaper. So the link for the Telegram channel has been given in the description box. Now guys, before starting up, first of all, let's take the overview of the entire newspaper so that we can understand that which articles are actually going to be important for our examination. Now, first of all, this is the first page of the Hindu newspaper Delhi edition. Avoid unilateral actions to alter the Taiwan status quo, says India. So guys, in the past week, we have seen this particular thing repeatedly, that what has happened, the confrontation between the two countries, that is the China and the Taiwan, has increased. Why it has increased? It has increased because of the visit of the US Speaker Nancy Pelosi in the Taiwan. So guys, we have seen this particular thing already in much detail, that the US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited the Taiwan. Now the China is irritated because of the visit of the USA's representative, because China believes that the Taiwan is not a sovereign independent country, rather Taiwan is the part of the mainland China only, as per the China's one China principle. Clear? So therefore China sees this particular thing that it is a kind of an confrontation with the China. Because of that particular thing, China started the military drills around the Taiwan Strait. Now this military drills are a kind of a message that has been given to the Taiwan. In this particular direction, guys, a kind of a blockade was also carried. Then the Taiwan also launched its own military exercise in order to give a kind of a befitting reply. Now guys, in all this particular thing, India has provided that the unilateral actions should not be taken by the countries such as China, and the status quo, okay, the peace and harmony which is there, it should not be disturbed. So this is something. Now guys, however, you don't need to go into the detail that okay, what date, what happened and all these kind of things. Fine. Then moving on, okay. Here we can see that basically Salman Rushdie, who has been a notable author, he has been stabbed. Not important for your UPSC examination. Fine. Then retail inflation in India eases to 6.71% in July. So the inflation right now is still high. So guys, as per the comfortable range of inflation in India, it should be maximum at 6%. Fine. So the Urjit Patel committee recommended that the comfortable range of inflation is 2% to 6%. Fine, not beyond that. But still we have the inflation of 6.7%, which is high. But though it is high, but it is comfortable than what it earlier was. Now guys, beyond that you don't need to go. Now see, you need to understand that which articles are only to be written in headlines and which articles we need to go in deep. Then the political articles etc. have been there, not important for examination. Then the crime related issues, advertisements etc. Fine, not important for your examination, so no need to go too much into the detail. Then guys, moving on, we have here the editorial page. Now in the editorial page, the first article, no holds barred. So basically guys, this particular article talks about the recent attempt where India proposed one of a terrorist, fine, as that he should be put into the list of the international terrorist of concern, but the China has put a technical hold on that. So we'll see this particular article. Independence in the words of an American. So guys, basically this particular article has been written by Shashi Tharoor, okay, who's from the Congress. And this particular article, what is happening here, basically guys, here is one of a letter is being read, and moreover the conditions of India, fine, at the time of independence etc. have been written. Now guys, the article is just making one particular point. The article makes this particular point that when India got independence, at that point of a time there were high hope, okay, that India will achieve all the greatness and all kind of things. So there was the hope for peace was there. But today what has happened? Majoritarianism, fine, in the name of religion, communalism, polarization etc. are going on in the society. Okay, so this is the one message that has been given, that just a one-liner message, that India was the land of aspirations, land of hopes when we got independence, but today majoritarianism, religious fundamentalism has become more important. Now guys, in this entire article, that particular letter etc. are being discussed. Fine. So guys, with respect to the examination, much of the substance is not there in the article. Then moving policy away from population control. So this article is important with respect to the examination. GS paper number 2 will see this particular thing. Fine, moving on. After that, guys, free speech is constantly under the threat. So guys, recently we have seen that an FIR has been filed against the Jai Bhim movie actors and the associated crew. Why? Because it has been said that it has hurt the religious sentiment. So guys, we see this particular thing that now, into the name of hurting the religious sentiments, fine, and in the name of promoting the enmity, many a times even the freedom of speech, expression, creative expression, it is being curtailed. Okay, so this is it. This article is talking about the FIR that has been filed. Then moving on, 3 murders in a communal cauldron. So guys, this particular today there's a Saturday. On Saturday we have this ground zero report. So ground zero report contains some issue and basically reports it from the viewpoint of the people who have suffered. Now these murders and the communal basically angle that is there. Fine. Now guys, the article is not important with respect to the UPSC. Fine. So no need to go too much into the detail in this particular article. Electricity bill problematic. So the opposition is continuously protesting against that particular thing. We'll see it. Then guys, the political articles etc are not important. Free bus travel for women and not a freebie. Clear? So guys, on freebie there is 2 articles that have come. So I will be telling you some important points in this particular direction, as it could be important for examination. Global instability posing a challenge to national security. We'll see this particular thing. Then again, the Congress remarks on the banks as how the government is interfering. All these things have been given. Fine. Then guys, farmer needs financing with a human touch. So basically guys, when we talk about the farmers need the loan, the credit for a lot of needs, for procuring the inputs, for other kind of activities. Now guys, in this particular direction, it has been said that basically the farmers should not be given loan on such a kind of a term where they suffer financially, economically. Okay, so a human touch in the lending practices needs to be there. Is it clear or not? More and more farmers should be connected with the primary agriculture credit societies. More of them, we need them. Okay. Then moving on, freebies are different from the welfare schemes. So guys, again, the article on freebie has come. So we'll club those 2 articles. Fine. After that, moving on, Supreme Court seeks states' view on Sulli deals plea. So guys, this was what happened actually last year. There was one particular basically application in which the women belonging to one religion, they were being addressed with a derogatory remarks. Okay, so that particular case is going on. However guys, you don't need to track this particular case. Okay, after that, moving on, 29 elephants poaching cases. So the data with respect to the human and elephant conflict has been given. We'll see this particular article. The social justice ministry should process fellowship, says UGC. Guys, no need to go into this particular article with respect to the examination. Now here there is one important article. Fine. That is, government will enumerate the people who clean sewers and center begins a scheme to rehabilitate the beggars. So within the social justice, we'll see these particular issues. Okay. Then no GST on house rent for personal use. Fine, note important for your examination. Okay, now guys, this particular article talks about the Trump, a raid that has been made onto the Trump's estate. Fine, for exam, not an important article. Biden, she agreed to meet, but specifics in the works envoy. So guys, basically this article is talking about the meet between the China and the US. Okay, where are our children's, ask mothers. So basically guys, basically this article it is talking about the 2000 days that have happened into since the North Sri Lankan killings. So those things are being discussed. Fine. Then the business page. Okay, so the corporate trends, corporate revenues and all these kind of things that have been given, not at all important for your examination. Fine, the question on such kind of lines are not asked. Industrial output growth slows down. Okay, so IIP expands from 12.3% earlier. Okay, but the growth, the rate of growth, it has slowed down. Now guys, these particular numbers which are coming, I have told you many number of times that you need not to go into that, because these are the changing data, it will change. Okay, then this is all about the overview of the today's newspaper. And guys, let's take these all important articles one by one in the detail. Now starting up, so first of all, in every class I start with a GS quotation. So today we'll be taking the quotation from the William Penn. So William Penn says that the wrong is wrong even if everyone is doing it, right is right even if no one is doing it. So guys, we should not take the majority approval in deciding the ethicality, morality and acceptability of an action. So acceptability of an action should be seen on the basis that what moral worth that action is having, what social welfare, social justice that particular action is bringing. Now sometimes what happens, basically the majority, sometimes the majority disapproves many number of things just for the sake of convenience or just because it is not serving their own end. So simply if majority is disapproving it, it doesn't mean that it is wrong. And simply because only minority is favoring certain things, it also doesn't mean that we should not focus on that. So wrong is wrong even if everyone is doing it, and right is right even if no one is doing it. So moral worth of an action is important and not how many people support that. So guys, this is a very important idea that could be used in GS paper number 4, GS paper number 4 ethics, GS paper number 4 ethics. Fine. Even within the ethics topic number 1, you can use this particular idea directly. Now moving on, let's take the first article. So guys, here actually I had clubbed the two articles from the newspaper. Fine. First is the free bus travel for women, not a freebie. Freebie are different from the welfare schemes. Now see, into the past few days, many articles on the freebies are coming, fine, and many developments have happened on this particular freebie issue. So guys, this entire issue of the freebies is very important in GS paper number 2. Okay, in the topic of electoral reforms. In the topic of electoral reforms, earlier also I have taken this particular topic. Fine, we'll see some dimensions. Okay, and most expectedly a question can come. Okay, now let's discuss this particular issue, guys. Before going in these two developments that had come, I would like to tell you some of a background which is actually very important, and the Supreme Court judgment also I will be telling you in this background. So guys, when we talk about the freebies are the unviable pre-election promises that are made to the people. So unviable pre-election promises such as, just a minute, unviable pre-promise elections such as giving the people free television, mixer, grinder and all these kind of things. Now guys, these unviable promises that are being given, sometimes they create some kind of problems. Okay, just guys give me 1 minute. Now, okay, let's come back. So what these unviable pre-election promises, what kind of problem they create? So basically they deviate the people from the legitimate welfare measures, okay, to such kind of an unnecessary things. Now guys, the people, what they need, the most important thing is the entitlements which will further the social justice. Now for example, the health is a very important thing, food security, it is a very important thing, the education is important thing, vocational education is even more important kind of a things. But rather than this particular thing, free TVs, mixer, grinders are being given. Now this particular thing basically goes against the legitimate welfare measures. Moreover, it puts the voters in a kind of an illusion. Now guys, when we talk about the issue of the freebie in this particular direction, now what has happened, Supreme Court of India just few days back has constituted an expert committee, and this particular expert body, it will have the stakeholders from the different walks of life, and all of them will discuss that how the freebie culture in India can be addressed. Moreover guys, even the Prime Minister has addressed this particular thing and had said that in India we are facing a kind of a revdi culture. In India, we are facing a kind of a revdi culture where these freebies are being given to the people. Now guys, the Supreme Court has constituted a committee, as well as the Supreme Court has also said that we are not going to make any law onto the freebie. Rather, we will take the suggestions from the different stakeholders. For example, the Niti Aayog, Finance Commission, Law Commission, Reserve Bank of India and political parties. All these stakeholders will give their suggestion that how the freebie culture in India can be curbed. Now when we talk about the freebie issue, in that particular thing guys, there was one particular judgment of the Supreme Court also where the freebie issue was investigated. That was the S. Subramaniam Balaji versus Government of Tamil Nadu 2013 case. In this particular case, basically the Tamil Nadu government and many governments in such way have given the televisions etc. to the people. So Supreme Court investigated whether that particular thing was freebie, whether it was allowed or not. Now interestingly, what Supreme Court said, Supreme Court provided that giving consumer goods such as the television sets to the people, it is not wrong. It was said that such kind of a thing targeted the women because the women they need to have the television. That was the reasoning of the Supreme Court. It targeted the farmers and the poor sections of the people who cannot afford these particular things by their limited means, and in a way it is helping us to fulfill the directive principles of the state policy, because the DPSP has put a specific mandate onto the state that all the welfare avenues are to be provided. But at the same time guys, the Supreme Court also was concerned about the increasing issue of the freebie. Supreme Court said that see, till the time the government is giving these particular things out of the fund, out of the money that they got. Okay, if they are not misuse, basically if they are bringing the money from the legitimate avenues, it is not a problem. At that point of a time, however, Supreme Court directed the Election Commission of India that you need to frame the guidelines that how the content of the manifestos of the political party can be regulated. Now the manifestos of the political party should not contain such kind of a promise which are deviating the electors, okay, or which are basically putting the electors in a kind of an illusion. Now at that point of a time, the Election Commission of India come out with some kind of a reforms. Election Commission of India in its model code of conduct provided that such kind of promises should not be made which vitiate the purity of the election or which exert some undue influence onto the voters. So for example, you are promising the mixer grinder, you are promising the TV, and undue pressure is being created. So such promises should not be made into the model code of conduct. Moreover, the Election Commission of India also said this particular thing, that whenever you are promising something, you need to also justify, or you also need to provide a logic that from where the money will be coming. So all these particular things was put by the Election Commission of India. Now this is the background that what we have done in order to curb the freebies. Now guys, when the freebies recently have been referred to as the Revdi culture by the Prime Minister of India, one particular debate has opened up. The debate is like that, what is the difference between a freebie and the social justice entitlements? Okay, now is everything wrong? Let's say even if the government is giving the food under PDS, if government is giving free education, if government is giving free health, is that particular thing also a freebie? That thing is also not allowed? Or some social justice entitlements are there which should be allowed? How to differentiate between this particular thing? So guys, this difference is not very much clear. Sometimes whatever is being called as a freebie, the government, the political party who is promising it, it justifies it in the name of a social justice entitlement. Now guys, in this particular capacity, for example, recently the Tamil Nadu government, it has launched the free it has launched an initiative where the women, they will be provided the free bus travel services. Now this particular thing, is it a freebie? So basically the Tamil Nadu government had justified that no, it is not a freebie, but rather it is an economic revolution. They say that when the women are being allowed to travel free through the buses, it is saving a lot of cost that they have to incur on the commutation. It has been said that it is helping the families to save 8 to 12% of their income because now they don't need to pay. Okay, this is something. Moreover guys, it has been said that giving them the free bus services, it is not just giving them an economic dole, rather it is a way of empowering the women. Okay, this is something that has been said. So guys, we need to actually understand that what is the difference between the Revdi culture with the freebies and the welfare schemes. Okay, moreover guys, when we talk about the welfare schemes and the freebies, they can be differentiated on one parameter. What is a parameter? Parameter is something that the welfare schemes are those which improve the human capital, or when we talk about the human capital, how the human capital is improved? Human capital is improved when we enhance the capabilities of human. How to enhance the capabilities of human? Three things: provide them education, provide them health, and empower them through skills and vocation. These are the three most important things by the human capital is reaped. So the welfare schemes are the ones which are improving the human capital, improving the living standards of the people, and they are helping in enhancing the state gross domestic product, per capita income. So basically guys, these are, now you can please note down these basically parameters on which we can define that whether a particular thing which is being given is a freebie or a welfare mechanism. So guys, this is this entire issue. And guys, now see, I don't feel that you should go beyond this particular boundary in the freebie thing that we have discussed. Is it clear or not? So this is all the issue in this particular line. That is all about this article, and now we'll move to the next article. Now, so basically here there are the two articles, different articles that have come in the newspaper. We have clubbed them together. First article, just first of all we'll read the headline, what it says. The first article, it reads, government to enumerate people who clean sewers. And the second is, center begins a scheme to rehabilitate beggars. Now guys, both of these particular articles can be used in our GS paper number 2 in the references for the social justice. Now guys, before going in this particular article, I would like to give you some of a background. Now, basically, particularly in GS paper number 2, there is one topic that is mentioned, that is the vulnerable sections of society. Vulnerable sections of society. Now, when we talk about the vulnerable section of society, they have different types of vulnerability. They have economic vulnerability, they have social vulnerability, they have physical vulnerability. So many such kind of vulnerabilities are there. Now, when we talk about India, India happens to be a welfareist state, and as India is a welfareist state, India needs to reduce these vulnerabilities. India needs to empower the marginalized sections of society, and in order to empower these marginalized sections of society, what India has, first of all, India has actually been bound under the constitution within the DPSP. A clear mandate has been given on the India that the social justice is to be carried, the vulnerabilities and the marginalized sections, their concerns are to be addressed. Now guys, in this particular capacity, government is coming out with the many of the legislations, many of the schemes. So there we can use these two particular schemes as an example. Now, the first is talking about that the government will enumerate the people who are cleaning the sewers. Now guys, understand one particular thing, that see, when we talk about the basically government's one important legislation, there is the prohibition of employment as manual scavengers as well as their rehabilitation act act is there. Okay, just a minute. The prohibition of employment as Manual Scavengers Act 2013. Prohibition of Employment as Manual Scavengers Act 2013. Now this particular act banned the practice of manual scavenging. Now guys, what is manual scavenging? Manual scavenging was a kind of it was a very inhumane practice where the people, they manually used to clean the pits, they used to clean the latrines and all these kind of things. They used to carry that entire excreta on their head and they used to clean that particular thing. So there were the manual scavengers that were involved in this particular kind of practice. It was very inhumane, it was very much derogatory, and it was going against the spirit of the human existence. So this particular kind of a practice has been removed by this particular act of 2013. But guys, at the same time, there is one more similar kind of a practice that is going on, that is manually cleaning these sewers. Okay, so you might have seen that the municipality sewers, okay, sometimes even the septic tanks, etc., they are being cleaned people while they are entering there physically. Now guys, this particular thing, first of all, there was a controversy that this cleaning of the sewers, is it not the manual scavenging kind of a thing? Isn't not the manual scavenging kind of a thing which has actually been banned in this 2013 act? Now guys, government first of all has made a distinction between the manual scavenging as well as between cleaning the sewers. It has made a distinction between the manual scavenging and cleaning these sewers. Government had said that no, they are not the same, they are different. Government had said that actually manual scavenging as a practice is not taking place in the country. It is removed from the country. There is nothing such as a manual scavenging right now. All the manual scavengers that were involved, they have been accounted, their record has been made, and they have been enrolled in the rehabilitation scheme. Rehabilitation scheme means that they have been put in some another kind of an occupations. And guys, in order to rehabilitate the manual scavengers, government is having one particular scheme also. The name of the scheme is scheme for the scheme for, just a minute, the scheme for just a minute, yes, self-employment scheme for rehabilitation of manual scavengers. Okay, again I'll repeat, basically self-employment scheme for rehabilitation of manual scavengers. This particular scheme government is running, and government had said that all the manual scavengers have been placed in this particular scheme. So you can read the name of the scheme, I have written it here also. Fine. The self-employment scheme for the rehabilitation of manual scavengers. Now this particular scheme got started in 2007 and all the manual scavengers have been placed here. Now guys, government had said that how the sewer cleaners, they are different, and for them also the government government is now starting a nationwide survey, where all these sewer workers, they will be enumerated, and all of them who are involved in such kind of an hazardous cleaning of sewers, cleaning of septic tanks, they will be placed in some other kind of an occupation, or they will be providing the mechanical aids, machines, etc. So they don't have to physically enter into these septic tanks, etc. Guys, since 2017, more than 350 people have died in this particular practice. So guys, now the government has decided that they are coming out with a new scheme. What is the scheme? The scheme's name is Namaste. Now, what is this Namaste scheme? So Namaste scheme, it stands for National Action Plan for Mechanized Sanitation Ecosystem. Now, under this Namaste scheme, the people who were manually cleaning the sewers, they will be provided the machines, they will be provided the equipments, so that they don't have to enter. Now, this particular scheme has been started in 500 Amrut cities. So the Amrut stands for Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation. Now, Amrut cities are the ones which have been designated by the government, and government will be providing the assistance, the financial assistance, to provide the basic necessities. For example, to provide clean drinking water, to lay the sanitation pipelines, etc. The government will be giving the funding. Okay, so the Amrut mission is there. So within this Amrut mission, the manual cleaning the sewers will be removed through this Namaste action plan. Now guys, government has also provided that, basically I just told you, this 2007 scheme for the self-employment and rehabilitation, this scheme will also be merged with this Namaste scheme, and in a long period of time, over a period of time, basically they will be placed. Now guys, this particular Namaste scheme, it is being undertaken by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, as well as the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Now this particular point is important for your prelims examination. So two ministries are taking it, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Namaste scheme. Now under this particular scheme, the capital subsidy will be provided to the people who are involved in this occupation. Now this capital subsidy up to 5 lakh rupees will be given, so that they can procure the sanitation machinery. Okay, fine. Then the interest subsidies onto the loan will also be taken. For example, a person is buying such kind of a machinery, then the interest subventions will be there, subsidies will be there. So this is the Namaste scheme that has been brought, where the people will be removed from this particular occupation of manually cleaning the sewers. Even they will be enumerated, a survey will be carried. So this is one. Then guys, the second is, the center begins the scheme for the rehabilitation of beggars. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that we are celebrating the Azadi Ka Mahotsav, 75 years since independence had happened. Gandhiji had an idea of Swaraj. Fine. Swaraj was the self-rule. Now guys, Swaraj in practice, the Swaraj was there. Okay. Now guys, when we talk about the Swaraj, the self-rule. However guys, still today there are so many of the people who don't have such kind of faculties that they can actually realize the spirit of the Swaraj. Okay. Moreover guys, all the basically dreams that were taken, the dreams that everybody's capabilities will be fulfilled, the dreams that everybody's aspirations were fulfilled, the dreams that were taken at the independence, the tryst with the destiny speech that was made by the Jawaharlal Nehru, it seems unfulfilled when there are so many of the beggars that are still onto the roads. Basic entitlements are not being fulfilled. Now guys, in this particular direction also, center had come out with a scheme, that is the Smile 75 initiative. Now what is this Smile 75 initiative? So this is launched by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and under this Smile 75 initiative, the rehabilitation of beggars will be done in 75 municipalities. Fine, in order to mark the 75th year of independence. So within the 75 municipalities, on this occasion of 75th Independence Day, the beggars will be rehabilitated. Now guys, when we talk about the Smile initiative stands for Support for Marginalized Individual for Livelihood and Enterprise, and under this Smile initiative, 100 crore rupees have been designated to be used till to 2025-2026. Now guys, when we talk about this Smile initiative, in Smile initiative, the people who are involved into the act of begging, they will be placed in some another dignified kind of an occupation. Their rehabilitation will be done. They will be provided the medical facilities, counseling will be provided them, awareness, education, skill development, economic linkages and converges with other government welfare programs will be focused. Fine. For example, how in another schemes they can get a benefit, how they can get the food benefit, how they can get the benefit for the health and all these kind of things. So basically, the Smile 75 and Smile initiatives are one, and the second is Namaste. So I'll write just it here, the Namaste Initiative and Smile 75. Okay, Smile and Smile 75. Okay, so guys, now these particular kind of things you can use in examples. Okay, moreover, let's say in GS paper number 2 social justice, a question is coming on vulnerable sections. There also all these particular dimensions can be written. So that is all guys about this particular article, and now we'll move to the next article. No holds barred. So this particular article guys talks about the recent issue between the India and China. So basically what has happened, basically India designated one of a terrorist, okay, to be placed into the international list of the terrorist, which is designated under the United Nations Security Council. But that particular name China has on that particular name China has put a technical hold. Clear? So guys, all these particular issues we are going to see in this particular article. Now guys, this particular thing could be seen within the GS paper number 2. GS paper number 2, multilateral groupings and India's role in that, multilateral groupings and India's role, as well as this particular article we can also see with respect to the India-China relations. Within the India-China relations, what are the irritants between the India-China relations? There this particular article could be seen. Now, before going in this particular article guys, there is some of a background that I would like to tell you first. So the background, something which goes like this is that, see, India is very much concerned, India is very much serious on the menace of the terrorism. According to the India, terrorism is the biggest threat that the humanity is now facing, and India has proposed many of the steps in the past in order to tackle this issue of terrorism. First of all guys, if we talk about the India, this particular right now the India is the elected non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. India is holding this place for the year of 2021-2022. Now guys, India this particular year will convene the counter-terrorism committee, and in this counter-terrorism committee India has invited all the officials from the 15 countries within the United Nations Security Council. 10 non-permanent members and the 5 permanent members, all India had invited. Moreover guys, this counter-terrorism committee which India will be presiding, here India wants to tackle the different dimensions of terrorism. For example, terrorism financing, cyber threats by the terrorism, the use of drones and the cyber technologies by the terrorist organizations. All these particular things India is going to see. Moreover, if I tell you the India's initiatives to tackle the terrorism, India has also proposed the comprehensive, just a minute, I'll change the pen. So India has also proposed the Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism. Now this Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism was proposed in 1996. Now guys, if I tell you on to the terrorism, one comprehensive convention is not there. There have been the sectoral conventions, more than 13 sectoral conventions are there, but a comprehensive convention is not there. So India has proposed this comprehensive convention since 1996. However, it has not been finalized. Now guys, following this particular line where India always shows such a concern into the terrorism, now India proposed that India as well as the USA both proposed to designate Jaish-e-Mohammed's deputy chief Rauf Asghar as a global terrorist. Okay, so this particular proposal was made, but the China has blocked this particular proposal on some technical grounds. Okay, so the United Nations Security 1267 committee was the one where this particular proposal was made, but the China has blocked it. Now guys, when we talk about the India and the China, the relations are going through a low phase. First of all, India and China, their relations are at a fragile point. 16 rounds of the military commander level talks have happened, but out of these commander level talks, nothing concrete has happened on the LAC. Still the confrontation between the India and the China is going on in the Galwan Valley around the LAC. Fine, so nothing has come out of that. Secondly guys, on the maritime sphere also there have been the disputes that have happened. Why? Because one of a Chinese basically satellite tracking ship, it is scheduled to dock on the Hambantota port of Sri Lanka. Now the Hambantota port of Sri Lanka, it is near the Tamil Nadu, and therefore the India's national interest might get impacted if this particular ship docks there. India has expressed the concerns against this particular development. So this is something that has happened, but guys, the China doesn't seems that it is going to cooperate. So this is also a point where the fragile relations can be seen. Moreover, guys, at the same time, the bilateral trade has recovered back. Okay, our dependence on to the Chinese goods, it has again reverted back. But at the same time, the Chinese technology companies that are there in India, Chinese telecom companies that are there in India, they are being raided by the Enforcement Directorate, income tax authorities, because of a suspicion of financial crimes that are happening. So this is also one particular area where we see that the India-China relations are going from a low phase. So basically, guys, all these particular things shows that the India-China relations are not good on multiple fronts: economic fronts, maritime front, strategic front. And in this particular thing here, the China has blocked the India's attempt to designate the Jaish-e-Mohammed deputy chief as a global terrorist. Now, in this particular capacity, what could be the way forward? What could be the way forward in this particular line? So, guys, the way forward is this: that first of all, what India can do, India can garner more of the international pressure and could pressurize the China that the China should support the India's bid. Now, guys, understand that in the UNSC, out of the 15 members, that is the 10 non-permanent member and the 5 permanent member, out of the 15, 14 have already approved what India is saying. Only China has not approved it. Now, guys, under the umbrella of the United Nations General Assembly also, India can basically the members of the UNGA, from there also India can ask more and more support, and a kind of an international pressure could be built on the China. Second thing is that what we can do, we can change the 1267 committee procedures. Now, guys, understand this particular thing, that the 1267 committee is one where this particular proposal was made. So this 1267 committee procedures need to be changed. Now the committee needs to, the procedure could be changed in such a way that one country should not be allowed to hold back such important terror listing. Okay, so China had used their veto and they have put an hold on this entire process even when the 14 other members are approving it. So this particular rule is to be amended, that one country should not be able to hold it. Then the third way is that what India can do, India can carry an outreach to the China and Pakistan. Now, first of all, China and Pakistan are very close allies. Okay, so India can open the dialogue with the China and Pakistan. Okay, and here what could be the bargaining chip? Bargaining chip could be the bargaining chip number one could be, see, I will tell you, there is the Financial Action Task Force. Now, the Financial Action Task Force maintains the blacklist and grey list. Now, basically, the blacklisted countries are those countries which have supported the terror financing and they are not cooperating with the Financial Action Task Force. Okay, so there is a blacklist. Then there is the another list, that is the grey list. Now, the grey list is the one where where it seems that the country has not done much in order to stop the terror financing. Okay, now when we talk about the Pakistan's name is in the FATF grey list. Now the Pakistan wants that its name from the FATF grey list is to be removed. Now India can use this particular thing as a bargaining chip and can ask the support from Pakistan, that the Pakistan should support this India's attempt to designate the deputy chief of the JEM to be designated as an international terrorist. So this is something that can be done. Second, guys, right now we see that the Pakistan is going through a kind of an economic crisis, and India could provide a support to the China as well as Pakistan to tame this particular economic crisis. So this could also be a particular kind of a bargaining chip that can be used by India. So this is, guys, the entire prospects of this particular article as well as all the background etc. that is there. Guys, this entire background that I have discussed here, fine, it is very important. Now this particular article, this particular content that has been provided here could also be used on for example, in GS paper number 4, there is the ethics of international relation. Within the international relation, there is a political terrorism issue that is there. So what India has done in that particular direction, we can use these particular points there also. So that's all about this particular article, and now we'll move to the next article. Moving policy away from population control. So guys, this particular article will see with respect to the GS paper number 1, population and related issues. Population and related issues. Okay. Now, basically, when we talk about, guys, the context of this particular article says that India needs to move beyond the population control measures. So last year, the government such as the Uttar Pradesh government came out with their draft population bill, where they proposed that the people needs to be nudged that they should not reproduce more, and if there are more than 2 children, then there were certain kind of penalties that were proposed. So these kind of a population control measures should not be carried. It has been provided that rather we should focus on human capital capital. Rather, we need to focus that how the existing population can be converted in a demographic dividend, how their capabilities can be used for an economic advantage. Okay, it has been proposed. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that recently one important development has happened, that is the United Nations World Population Prospect 2022 report has been released. Now this WPP report, it has provided that India will surpass the China by 2023 as the most populous country. Now guys, this is something that has been there. Now guys, we are at the stage of the third stage of a demographic transition. Now what it means? It means that, see, India's population is now towards a stability. Now we find this particular thing, that in India there is a low mortality rate that is there. Less number of people are dying compared to the 1970s and 1980s. There is the declining fertility. Even the reproduction rate, fertility has also been declined. Now guys, when we talk about the total fertility rate in India, it has reached to 2.0. Now guys, when we talk about the replacement rate stands at 2.1. Now what is the replacement rate of 2.1? It means that if the fertility rate will reach 2.1, then the population of a country will stabilize. Neither it will increase nor it will go down. Population will stabilize. So 2.1 if it is achieved. However, our population rate has gone to 2.0, which is less than the 2.1. So it means that our population is going to stabilize, or there will be a little bit decline in our population. So this is a development that has happened. However guys, still India's population will reach to 150 crore by 2030 and 166 crore by 2050. So our population will still going to rise. Now guys, at the same time, it has been provided that why our population will increase. It is because of the population momentum phenomena. What is the population momentum? Population momentum means that, see, even if a country's total fertility rate declines, but still if large number of young people are there, these young people are going to reproduce for coming many years, and in absolute numbers the population is going to increase. So there is a population momentum effect by which the India's population will increase till 2050. Okay, now it has been provided that though we have large population, but this large population should also be seen as an opportunity for greater human capital, opportunity for greater higher economic growth, improved level of standard. Now guys, it has been provided that the World Population Prospect Report 2020, that India will have one of the largest workforces globally in the next 25 years. This is a big economic advantage that India is going to reap in the coming years. Now guys, however, the article proposes that there are certain obstacles, there are certain challenges in India reaping its demographic potential, in India reaping its demographic dividend. So what are the economic challenges in this particular line? The first economic challenge is that in India, female labor force participation rate is very much less. Are you getting it or not? Just 25%. So just one fourth of the women, they are in the workforce. It means that large number of women are absent from the workforce. Okay, 75% of the women are absent from the workforce. Only one fourth, 25% female labor force participation rate is there in India. Now these women, when they are not participating in economic activity, it means that we are not fully leveraging our demographic dividend. Now guys, when we talk about the countries such as the Japan, for example, in Japan, their female labor force participation rate is nearly 65%. Women have equally contributed in the economy, but in India, the female labor force participation rate has been nearly 25%, which is very much less. Then the quality of educational attainment is not up to the mark. Now guys, many of you might be engineers, but you know the condition of the engineering courses. Many of you might have been technically the engineer, but the technical skills, are they there? Are the employable skills there? You might be knowing that it is what is the reality. So guys, the basic skills, fine, which are required by the job market, which is required by the industry, they are missing in our education. The next thing that has been provided, that basically our population, it is male dominated. Now as per 2011, sex ratio was 943 females per 1000 males, and it is being expected that into the 2021 census that has now been deferred, in this particular census the sex ratio will come around 950 females per 1000 male. Now this is the male dominated country that we are having. So this is something, this is problematic. Then guys, basically there is the human development also which have suffered. Now when we talk about the human development, for example, on the front of hunger, on the front of education, on the front of skill development, we have not performed very much good. Now guys, when we talk about the women in the reproductive age, they are, large number of women are anemic. So guys, more than 50% of the women, more than 53% of women actually, they are anemic. Okay, anemia, it is the basically, guys, anemia, it is a condition when basically the blood's capacity to transport the oxygen, it is reduced. So when we don't consume the iron, when we don't consume the leafy vegetables, the anemia as a condition develops. Okay, so guys, this is the condition of anemia, and 53% of the women in India are having anemia, which is a serious health concern. Then guys, when we talk about the stunting, every third child below the age of 5 is stunted, and actually if I tell you, the rate of stunting is around 35.5% in India. Then 101 countries, now India's ranking on the global hunger index is 101, which is very much poor. So all these particular things says that the food security is not there, health security is not there, and if the food security and health security is not there, obviously our demographic dividend we cannot achieve. Then the next thing that is there is that we have the largest PDS, public distribution system, we have the midday meal scheme, but still large number of people in India are hungry. Then guys, the next thing that has been said, that see, into the last 75 years there is a shift in the disease pattern also. So guys, earlier in 1960s, 1970s, Indians were suffering the communicable diseases, but today that burden of non-communicable disease has increased. Today 62% of the total deaths that are happening in India, they are because of the non-communicable diseases such as the heart attacks. We call this non-communicable disease as a lifestyle diseases. So this is something that has happened. Now guys, into the global disease burden that we talk about, global disease burden that is there, India is a leader under the global disease burden. The largest non-communicable diseases in India are there in India. Okay, guys, more than 8 crore people are suffering with the diabetes. Moreover guys, the next thing is that the lowest employment rate right now there is in India. Okay, into the past 45 years, the biggest unemployability we are seeing right now in India. So these are the concerns. Then guys, the next thing that has been provided, that India's public health financing is very much low. We are just spending between 1% to 1.5% of GDP onto the health, but if our people will not be healthy, obviously they cannot participate in economic activities. Then the next thing that has been provided, that at the same time, though India's young population is increasing, but the elderly population is also increasing in India, and in this capacity it has been said that there will be the 12% of the people in India who will be the old by the 2050. Now what is the problem in graying population, in old age population? The problem is that these people will be the dependent people, and by that particular thing, basically the burden on our care sector, it is going to increase. But are we ready to in that particular direction? This is a concern. Then what is the need of our is to go for investments into the development of our human capital. So social infrastructure, financial infrastructure, healthcare support, all of them are to be given. Now guys, extensive focus on human capital on to the older people, so that how they can be provided a life of dignity, this is particular to be done. A healthy population aging is needed to be designed. That, see, I told you that 12% population in India will be the old population by 2050. So how the healthy aging can be provided? So in that particular thing, the practices, etc., case studies need to be learned from. The next is that we need to be prepared for the suitable infrastructure as well as for the social welfare schemes. So this is something that is to be done. So guys, rather than going for the population control, all the challenges, the 8 challenges that we have discussed here, we need to tackle them, and we need to treat our population as our asset. So this is all about this particular article, and now we'll move to the next article. 29 elephants poaching cases in 3 years. Fine. So guys, this particular data has been provided by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change into the Parliament. Now this particular data could be used with respect to the GS paper number 3, ecology, conservation, man and human and animal conflicts, etc. Now guys, when we talk about the India is the home to 60% of the Asian elephants. Okay, India is the home to 60% of the Asian elephants, given the rich forests, etc., that have been there. But guys, at the same time, when we talk about the elephants are getting threatened by many of the concerns. By the way, onto the IUCN red list, the status of Asian elephant is endangered. Now guys, when we talk about the elephants, in the past 3 years, more than 90 cases of the seizures of elephant tusks have been there. Okay, so the people, they have basically hunted the elephants for their tusk. So 90 cases of such thing has come. 29 cases of poaching of elephants Fine, poaching of elephants, the hunting of the elephants have come. Now this particular data has been provided by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So it shows that though we are so much concerned about the elephant population, we have so big elephant population, but still the hunting, poaching for their tusk, ivory, etc., it is going on. Now guys, there are the two states which had highest number of these cases, Odisha and Meghalaya. So Odisha has emerged as one of the hotspot for human-animal conflict, and the 7 elephant death due to the poaching has happened in the past 3 years. Meghalaya had accounted for the 12 poaching deaths into the past 3 years. So guys, in this particular capacity, we need to come out with a specific interventions as how the elephant and human conflict can be minimized. Okay, so this is all about this particular article. Clear? Beyond this, there is nothing more. Guys, you not need to go too much into the detail, okay, on the which year, in which state, how many elephants got died and all that. No. Just the broad data you need to have. That is all about it. And now we'll move to the next article. Global instability posing the challenge to national security. Now guys, this is basically this is the comment made by the Minister of External Affairs. Now guys, what has happened? The Minister of External Affairs says that right now the global instability is going on in the world. Why the global instability? You see that there are the conflicts on many of the dimensions. First of all, there is the Russia-Ukraine crisis that is going on. Now because of the Russia-Ukraine crisis is going on, there is the supply chains that that has broken. The food insecurity is coming because the Russia was a major exporter of the wheat. So basically the exports of wheat from the Russia, it got declined. The natural gas and oil exports from the Russia, it got declined. Then guys, the Ukraine was providing critical inputs for the rare earth metal for the semiconductor industry. All those particular exports had got disturbed. Then many of the other corporations that were there, they had got broken down because of the Russia-Ukraine. So the world has divided in two camps. One is the supporters of Russia, other is the supporter of Ukraine. So within these two camps, the rivalries are coming. Then guys, recently what has happened, the visit of the Nancy Pelosi in the Taiwan. Because of that particular thing, the China has become irritated, and between the China and the USA, the confrontation is going on. Then guys, between the India and the China, the confrontation is going on. So there is a global instability that is there, and this global instability is posing the challenges to the national security. Now guys, see, let's take the example, the Russia-Ukraine crisis is going on. This Russia-Ukraine crisis is there. Now in the Russia-Ukraine crisis, India has not taken a very clear position. Because India has not taken a clear position, it is being said that we are not concerned about the humanitarian crisis going on in Ukraine. But guys, see, if we take a position clearly and if we criticize the Russia, then guys, our national security might get impacted. Why? Because we are dependent too much onto the Russia. For example, in the north-south transport corridor, which got operationalized, Russia play a very important role. Russia play an important role in the weapon exports to India. Russia play an important role in energy exports to India. So we are not able to take a position here because of the national security concerns that had come. Moreover guys, though the China factor is also there, the China has shown a lot of unilateralism, but again at the same time China happens to be our neighbor also. So the national security concerns dictate that sometimes we are again also having some limitations in that particular capacity also. So guys, this is something that has been given. Okay, now guys, in this particular thing, fine, the Modi government is facing the challenge of confidence and all these things. So this was a statement that have been made. So guys, just this particular dimension you need to understand. However, within the article, you don't need to mark or highlight any specific point. So this is a message that you need to understand. Okay, so this is all about this particular article, and now we'll move to the next article. Electricity bill problematic opposition. So this article has come in today's Hindu newspaper. Now guys, then in this particular article, basically the opposition party members, they are making the remarks onto the ruling government, that how they have basically killed the how they have violated the constitutional spirit and all these kind of things. Now guys, in this particular article, no substance has been given for our UPSC examination. Nothing has been given. However, this electricity amendment bill 2020, I have discussed already in the detail along with all the provisions as well as background just day before the yesterday, that is on the 11th of August. At this particular time stamp, 26 minutes 48 seconds, I have discussed this entire issue. So guys, this particular article that has come today, there is nothing substance. However, if you have not read it, then on to the 11th August at 26 minutes 48 seconds, you can go and you can see this entire issue that I have discussed in the detail from the scratch. However, if you have seen, then no need to go again in that particular direction. Okay, so guys, that is all about the important articles into the today's newspaper. So today is Saturday, so the text and context also doesn't comes in the today's newspaper. So there, so this is all about the important and relevant articles. With this, we come to an end in the today's newspaper analysis. Now guys, we'll be meeting on Monday. Every Saturday I tell you that please keep the Sundays the day for consolidation and revision. Clear? Because guys, consolidation and revision is a very important thing, because without that you will not be able to reproduce the content into the examination. Okay, moreover, on Sundays we don't have text and context, we don't have editorial sections, then the leisure lifestyle pages are there, which are not important for your examination. Even in the FAQ section, the repeated articles that have come into the past week, that particular thing only comes. So the Sunday you can keep very safely as a day for revision, okay, for the entire week's newspaper. Now we'll be meeting on Monday. Till then, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much. And guys, if you have liked, please do hit the like button. Please do leave your lovely comments. And as you have commented yesterday, I have decided that we will be retaining this newspaper overview as we are doing right now. Okay, so please keep on commenting. Thank you so much.